Hi, my name is Brinley Ender, and I decided to do making monarchs because we were outside in the summer and we saw a ton of caterpillars. So I just decided to do this for my science fair. So, the butterflies and the life cycles by generations. Generation number 1. Generation 1 starts when Generation 4 lays eggs in March and April. Eggs are laid on milkweed. It takes 4 days for the eggs to hatch. The baby caterpillar then eats all day long to grow. After 2 weeks, the caterpillar will be full grown. It will then find a place to attach itself to start the next phase of the life cycle. The caterpillar attaches itself upside down in a J shape on the stem or a leaf by using silk. The caterpillar then starts to make its chrysalis. You may not see anything happening, but big changes are happening over the 10 days the caterpillar is in the chrysalis. The butterfly is the final stage in the monarch's life cycle. Before the butterfly is able to fly away, the wings need to be fully dry. This can take up to a few hours. The butterfly then feeds on flower during the short life of 2 to 6 weeks. The Generation 1 butterfly will die after laying the eggs to start the life cycle of Generation 2. Generation 2 and 3. Generation 2 butterflies are born between May and June. The third generation is born between July and August. These monarch butterflies will go through the exact same 4 stages life cycle in the first generation. They usually die within 2 to 6 weeks after it becomes a butterfly. Generation 4. Generation 4 is the last and final generation. The generation is a little different than the first 3 generations. The 4th generation is born in September and October and goes through the same process as the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd generation except one part. The 4th generation does not die after 2 to 6 weeks. Instead, this generation of monarch butterfly migrates to warmer climate to Mexico and California. This generation usually lives for 6 to 8 months until it's time to fly north. To start this process all over again, the 4th generation monarchs fly back to the exact same location they formed. They do this process over and over again. So what it means is when it's winter in ours, they go all the way down to Mexico when it's summer, and then when it gets winter there, they come right back up to the same location that they started from. And this is what it looks like when they were in eggs. So day 1, round 2, they were just little eggs on milkweed. And it's kind of cool to see eggs on milkweed because why do butterflies just lay eggs on milkweed? Well, that's because each spring in North America, as monarch butterflies fly north, they lay their eggs only on milkweeds because the milkweed is the only plants that caterpillars can eat when they are born. So right when they are born from the eggs, they go and eat the milkweed that they were laid on. When they come out of the eggs, it takes a couple of days to make it grow big, like some of these caterpillars after a couple of days. So like day 1 and all that, those aren't the ones that hatched out of the eggs. Unfortunately, the ones from the eggs have died, so these were just ones that we found in the back of our house on milkweed. How long does it take for the caterpillar to be full grown? It takes up 10 to 14 days to be full grown. It needs that time for it to have all that food in its body before it goes into a J and chrysalis. So in day 1, they were a little small because it's just like how we found them. But then if they came out of the eggs, then it will take 10 to 14 days. But for day 1 and all those ones, they probably had like 9 days or something. When they're ready to go into their J shape, you can kind of know when they are because they stop eating and act different, like stay in their same spot for a long time. So I was noticing that when they did it. Why do they turn into a J shape? Because that is how they turn into a butterfly. When they are in a J shape, it starts to wiggle its way out of the top layer of their skin. Their skin starts to harden and forms into a green cocoon called a chrysalis. When the caterpillar is ready to make a chrysalis, it will attach itself to the top of a leaf or tree with silk that it makes. So right over here, you can see that it's in its J shape. And then silk is holding it, so that's why you see white. And it's on top of like a little box that we had. And we cut holes in it, so it wasn't like a leaf or a stem. And then this is the day after. It's in its cocoon. And there's day 5. And you can kind of see a little butterfly mark starting. And then there's more starting to go up there. So it's kind of cool to see just one already starting. And then another one started to form right there. And then I'm going to be saying something soon. That's why we had to have floss on it. So that's what the white stuff is. Why do caterpillars curl up? The reason why the caterpillars curl up is because they're scared and for defense against the predator. So right over here you can kind of see this one is curled up. It was scared and it might be defending itself by the other caterpillars. Monarchs. Monarch caterpillars are striped with yellow, black, and white bands and reach up to 2 inches long. Once they turn into a beautiful butterfly, they are orange, black, and white markings. Their wingspan, when full grown, is about 5 inches. Caterpillars only eat milkweed. This is their only source of food. Butterflies live off different flower pollen. So that's the only type of milkweed that they eat, and that's like what they need to eat. How long does it take for the chrysalis to go over them? It takes almost 18 hours to form. That's a really long time, but it needs that time for the whole body to be covered and secure on the top. So it needs to start that silk, and then it's from the silk, from the caterpillar, it just makes it go inside. Why do caterpillars have diseases? So they aren't born with it. When they were a caterpillar, there was a certain type of fly called tachnid flies. So that's what a tachnid fly looks like. And then over here, you can see that these ones had diseases. There's string that's falling from them. And then because when they were a caterpillar, that fly tachnid laid eggs on them, which were actually little bugs. Let's see what the map of migration where the butterflies go. So then, what I said is from when it's when it's summer, then they come up from here, and then when it's winter here, they go all the way down to Mexico where it will turn summer. Is the monarch a girl or a boy? You can tell by me looking at their wings. Boy butterflies have 2 small dots on each side of their wings. The girl butterflies do not have dots. So when you see it, this is a boy dot, like a boy butterfly because it has 2 dots. And then this is a girl because it has no dots. And then for diseases. While doing my science project, I realized a few of my monarchs were not looking like the healthy ones. They turned brown and had strings hanging from them. My mom and I researched it and realized these caterpillars have been diseased by a certain type of fly called tachnid. The fly lays eggs on the caterpillar and burrows inside of them, taking their nutrients. This causes the caterpillar to die, causing the caterpillar to turn brown and gross looking. One time it became infected after it was in its chrysalis, and the chrysalis turned brown and gooey. A maggot was inside. This was because the fly egg had hatched. We removed all the healthy caterpillars and chrysalis from that container to a new clean one, so they would not get sick too. So that's why we used the floss. And one time when a maggot came outside of the caterpillar's body and down the string, and we could actually see it like crawling around on the floor. It was really gross. And then that's it. Thank you for the time. This is the end of my slide. Thank you.